Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Mayor, we're a year away from your election. There's no opponent on the horizon, yet you're raising money like a frenzy. Why? Why so much money?
Well, you prepare not for a candidate, but you prepare for an election to tell the voters what you've done, but also what you plan on doing, because elections are about tomorrow, and I plan on expressing and reminding people we've done a lot of things and brought a lot of change, but we have a lot more work to do.
Toni Preckwinkle seems to be the strongest possible candidate that could possibly push you. Is she a legitimate threat? Do you take her seriously? Do you think she's going to run? What about her?
Now look, day one, Toni and I started cooperating between the city and county. You know about it. It hadn't been done before. Everybody talked about it for years. Never been done. So we set up a working group, save taxpayers $73 million.
I know what you've done to cooperate. I also know where she has differed with you, and
Okay.
That's rare in this city, to step out.
That's okay. I mean, I believe, and I take Toni at her word. We still are working on things. We did things in the past. We got things in the future.
So you believe her that she's not running? Has she told you so?
I believe she's not running, and I also believe, more importantly, why she ran for county board president was the criminal justice system and healthcare, and that her work is not done.
And she has told you that privately as well, that she's not running.
Yeah,
Okay.
she has said that, and I think she's a person of her word.
But your standing in the black community has dropped. You know that. You've seen the polling. You have your own polling. What's it about, and what do you plan to do about it?
You know, Fred, I brought 2 kids from Sarah Good on the south side, Michelle Clark on the west side, the new schools I created, to see the president, because what we're building with the new digital hub is their future. But let me say this. When we had to consolidate schools, it was going to have a ripping effect. I understand why people in the past didn't, because it was too politically tough. What's really tough is allowing kids to get locked in warehouse in schools that year in and year out are failing with no alternative to change, because then we were locking them into a failed future. I don't want to be mayor and do that. I understood. Trust me, I don't want to close schools, but what is harder is not what happens to me politically, is what happens to those kids if you don't provide a good education. And I think we've given them the right educational opportunity, which to me is my fundamental responsibility. And people will make a decision if it was good politics or bad, but the choice for them will have an impact generations beyond me, and it's more important than my tenure as mayor.
There are some things, though, the juxtaposition of closing schools, opening charters, closing schools, building new schools over here. It didn't go down well.
Fred,
Was that a mistake?
Look, as I said before, and let me repeat, I wish I'd never had to make those decisions about school
You
consolidation.
didn't have to do the juxtaposition, though.
No,
You could have just closed the schools and let that sit for a while.
Yes, you could have let the schools stayed open.
Okay, well, let's agree that...
No, Fran, you just asked the question, so let's be honest.
Okay.
You just answered, and I want to say this, in a way in which is in your DNA. Allow that to go on. Turn a blind eye to the failure. No, you did, and you know why? Here's the thing. The hits on me are nothing compared to the hits kids locked into schools that aren't succeeding. And I knew when you did that, it was going to feel like an abandonment. But there's another abandonment. Abandoning kids to a school that wasn't succeeding.
I'm talking about the juxtaposition of closing,
but
opening.
I have one pledge, or 2 I would say, and every decision is in that. 100% college ready, 100% college bound, high quality education for everybody. Part of that means consolidations where we had failure. We have overcrowding. I could have said universal kindergarten, which we did, full school day, no school actions in the sense of either building new ones or consolidate. We'll just let the same problems exist, and you have to deal with it because it's too politically tough.
Or that was you could have closed schools and not built new ones right away.
But
waited, perhaps, so that people could swallow what you had just done.
Yeah, you could look at it like that, and that meant a lot of kids stuck in underperforming schools. I don't think it's right for the children, if they're going to give their full potential, that I shrink from my full responsibility, or others.